program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Good evening to all of you guys, and you're now on DP24 in Focus live session. And of course, in this episode, we will have to talk more on the one skit about stories as the title suggests, plus some further announcements when it comes to season break for the Mapping 101 Thursdays, DPinFocus, and DPonreflections. Of course, as you can hear from the background, it's raining here in DP24 base in Tasmania City. And by the way, without further ado, this is your one and only Dear Paul speaking. And let's say that we have received some sort of news and information with regards to the physical distancing guidelines and got expanded into the one seat apart policy on the public transportation. But before I have to go further into one seat apart policy on public transportation, if we can remember this one as students, we are so very trained to do one seat apart on every examination, whereas the distancing rule has to avoid going too close into the chair, left and right, just to avoid some sort of cheating and other forms of dishonest acts. And of course, it would be more related to you guys, especially those students here. Shout out to all of you. Hopefully you could study well because there would be another examination, and likewise there would be another round of midterm examination, and I'm not 100% sure if this would be the first week of November or otherwise announced by the university. And yes, of course, if you could relate to this story, I used to be one seat apart policy, whereas every row and column of the chair in every classroom has to be equally distributed. And if there are any instances that the classroom might get full, it would be compressed further. But mind you guys that it is now part already of the 7 passenger commandments for public transportation, aside from those previous episodes that you're supposed to do physical distancing by keeping apart from one another. And of course, we have to do something in order to curb all sorts of overloading. And that being said, we are going to obey if there would be authorities here, but not on this case already. At any time, authorities are now warning everyone to follow the 7 passenger commandments for public transportation. You have to wear face mask and face shield as part of the personal protective equipment or PPE. And likewise, you have to undergo temperature check and sanitation, which then is embedded into the 5S discipline. And that 5S discipline philosophy will be reiterated on the further episodes and the philosophy behind it. And likewise, you're not supposed to talk to anyone, not even on the mobile phones. And of course, we have to prohibit ourselves, or let me say, do not eat at all times while on the public transportation. It's been a long rule already in Singapore, but slowly but surely this should be applied here also in the Philippines as part of the health safeguards against the COVID-19 pandemic disaster that got us into the strict home quarantine, or the so-called strict enhanced community quarantine. And now we're slowly recovering towards the general community quarantine and the modified version. And on the next, mass gatherings for religious settings, it would be increased into 30% for the GCQ, but still it sustained 50% for the modified one. Intersonal got allowed, but of course, let's have some sort of DP24 alert, because we have the latest information with regards to course what would gonna happen next if there would be some sort of penalties that would be discussed. So please stand by. Of course, we're now on DP24 alert, and sanctions are waiting for those violating the health protocols, including the physical distancing and, of course, the crackdown against the cooperation been ongoing ever since. And that concludes the DP24 alert. And we're going back to DP24 in focus. Of course, we're now still on DP24 in focus live session. And yes, we have to obey the physical distancing guidelines in order for us not to get infected due to the close contact. And altogether, let's follow the contact tracing procedure in which we could be, effectively traced once there would be a report of the COVID-19 case. And yes, of course, recently there's a talk with regards to the thesis preparation, but I'm not going to mention this on here since it's a data privacy policy. And most of the contents are confidential. But let's see what would happen on the future of the public transportation. And this time, in this session, hopefully everybody is safe. And tomorrow would be more on DPonreflections live session at 9, or should I say 2100 hours, 9 p.m. Philippine Standard Time. Of course, COVID-19 case updates and updates on the possible tropical cyclone that got resulted from the low pressure systems that is now on the monitoring stage by the Pag-asa DOST, and more will be on the CNNPhilippines, the final word with Derek Cohesion and PTVNews tonight. Ever since that I have started this DP24 in focus live session, and it got started from the smartphone camera all the way to the uploads to not only on Facebook Watch, but also on the YouTube as simulcasted. And then there's the Mapping 101 Thursdays that got inspired from the WeMap session, which is operated by or via 8x8 and hooked up to YouTube. And of course, DPonreflections, you know, the civil engineering student online diary. Your one and only producer and host needs some sort of break this December in order to give way for the Christmas and New Year's Eve. And I'm not 100% sure if there will be a live stream break next week due to the health break for the LPU league. But of course, we're all people right here. We need some sort of a rest. And why do I say this one? Because there's a need for a refreshment, not only for us, but also for the other topics and other endeavors that have needed to fulfill. And as this is stepping that progress, it would be much harder to update this one while there's an ongoing business. And I'm considering rescheduling into 20 to 30 if it's too warranted to do so, in order to give way for those who are working hard so that this is not the other, or let me say, other English speaking audiences needing some sort of readjustment, especially I'm here from the Republic of the Philippines. Other audiences might find it hard to watch this one on the prime time slot. Sometimes I got into EDP situation or mode, and I'm not 100% sure if there would be another rescheduling after the season break. Also, hopefully you could support the show. Don't forget to like, follow, and share DP24 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Also follow DP24 Radio on Spotify, Anchor.fm, iTunes, Amazon Podcast, Google Podcast, podcast, Overcast, and even TuneIn and other podcast providers that you're been using or tuned into. And yes, of course, DP24 GTV on YouTube, still up and running. And having said that, to all my dear classmates, students, and even professors, we have to make sure that our health and well-being got into the top shape, avoiding some sort of burnouts that may happen to us. And this time, we have to be united and to fight against the COVID-19. May God save this country from further fears. And hopefully, we are so. And by the way, I'm so very grateful that time because I have to still observe the 5S discipline that would be saved for the further episodes before the season break. So good night everyone. Happy sweet dreams and always remember to be safe. Be well, stay safe, and of course, you are loved.